Hey, it is time for Motivation Monday. Of course, the World Games just wrapped up with the closing ceremony last night. And in order to make it a good experience for all those athletes from across the globe, you got to have volunteers to make this thing happen. And joining us this morning to talk about how that can be a motivation for you is Pete Blank, author, public speaker, talking about that. And you've got your... He's not a Tennessee Vol, even though it's the orange color, and it says VOL on it. That stands for volunteer.
We got our volunteer credentials on. Kathy Boswell did a great job getting over 3,000 volunteers active for the World Games. There was a nice applause for them last night as they walked into the ceremony.
Well deserved, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, on one of these things, when you start thinking about what can one person do, you know, it's all one person cannot make a difference. And even though the World Games are over, Mike, I think there's still a good chance for all of us to take that passion of volunteering and continue to do it.
So what are the benefits? You know, because you're not getting anything out of it. You're giving up a lot of your time.
Right. Well, the first thing is you're going to meet a lot of nice people. So, you know, you're going to meet a lot of people, especially in this environment where we had the World Games. You met volunteers not only from across the state, but just across the United States, across the world. You met people, so you can make connections. And with social media now, people are connecting on LinkedIn and Facebook. There's also more of an intrinsic motivation where it does make you feel a little bit better, makes you feel good, that it's not just about you. You're actually giving back to the community. You know, there's a study out that says over 1 in 4 Americans have volunteered at one point in their lives. So 25% of us do like getting out there and doing stuff. And let's get that number up even a little bit higher.
And that connection to community is so important. You know, when you look at the big picture after you volunteer, it's going to help you in a lot of the ways that you just mentioned. But I mean, sure, you're going to make new friends, but there are other benefits.
Well, stress actually goes down. You actually become more fulfilled in what you do as a person. And there's so many ways you can do it, Mike. There's the easy ways of, do you have a neighbor who needs some help? Do you need to mow somebody's yard? Do you need to be involved in your school? So don't always think that you've got to look for these huge, gigantic organizations where you can volunteer. Volunteering takes... Even the smallest thing you can do for somebody else can be considered an act of volunteering. And that's what's so important, is that we can be out there and just do it. And here's one more thing that I wanted to share with you. Before y'all go out there and start volunteering and getting involved, ask yourself why you want to do it.
Yeah.
So, Mike, if you were to ask yourself, well, why do I want to sign up on a weekend to volunteer for a golf event or a marathon or volunteer to hand out water? Ask yourself why. Because if you want to meet people, that's a new reason. If you want to feel better about yourself, that's a reason. If you want to help somebody else, that's a reason. But if you know what your reason is for volunteering first, it helps you pick out the certain things that help you do a better job in volunteering.
But obviously it should be more than about just bringing attention to yourself, because it's really about giving of yourself.
It's all about giving.
Yeah.
And sometimes, again, at the end of the day, I know all the volunteers for the World Games went home and said, I did it, I was happy to be part of it. But I think the real win, like you said, is what did we give to other people? What sort of emotional connection how did I make somebody else's day a little bit better? If we can frame it that way, how can I make somebody else's life a little bit better? That's what volunteering is all about.
Well, and I appreciate you volunteering to buy lunch soon.
I will volunteer to buy you lunch.
That brings you some benefits as well.
And it makes me closer to you.
Yes.
And that brings me joy.
Pete Blank, we do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Get out and volunteer, everybody. Thanks.
Hey,